My wife, 35 female, of 10 years, left me, 36 male, after I discovered I had a son from a previous relationship. She wants to move with our kids. I have been unable to sleep and really struggling. I feel emotionally drained. My wife, Amy, 35 female, left me, 36 male, after I was contacted by an ex and discovered I had a son. I tried to post his age, but my post gets removed, so I just want to clear up that he was born 3 years before I married my wife, and there was absolutely no overlap or cheating in my wife and I's relationship. This happened a month ago, and I requested a paternity test. Amy didn't say much while we waited for results, but agreed that if I was the father, I needed to be in my son's life in every way possible. 2 weeks ago, the results came back that I am the father, and immediately Amy said she wanted a divorce and began packing her and our children's belongings. I was confused and asked her why, but she just cried and said she loved me. Amy and I have been married for 10 years. Okay, so that means the son is 13 years old. Our marriage has been pretty damn close to perfect. No serious arguments, same goals, we've traveled the world together, we have a beautiful home, rewarding careers, and fantastic children together. I'm so heartbroken that she's thrown everything away. I feel like my life has been destroyed. I have no clue what to do. I have begged and pleaded for therapy, and my wife refuses. She has started the divorce process. The next issue is custody of our children in terms of divorce. All 4 of our children are young, not even in school yet. She says if I agree to give her primary custody, she will let me have the house and will not want child support, and will give me all of our savings so I can raise my son as his mother is struggling. She also agreed to pay for some home help for me. I am disabled and need some help occasionally during flare-ups, which she usually provides. I told her I could afford it on my own, but she insists as she says she wants to help out since she won't be there. She will move across the country with our 2 children, but said she will bring them for at least 2 weeks every 2 months so I can have a relationship with them, and will pay for me to fly out to see them whenever I want. I don't know what to do. I have no family to discuss this with because 2 of mine and Amy's children are adopted. And my parents and extended family think my biological son is more important than them, which is obviously untrue. It makes me feel horrible, but I don't even know my son. It feels like I'm losing everything for a person I don't know. And I know he's a child and I shouldn't feel that way. But all I ever wanted was my wife and kids. And while I love my son and take care of him, I don't feel like he is my kid yet just because I haven't really had time to get to know him. A month ago, I wouldn't have recognized him if I saw him on the street. I feel so much guilt for feeling this way. Amy and I are fairly well off, but she is more so than me. She offered to hire me a lawyer of my choosing if I don't agree with her terms. I told her again I could afford it, but she says she just wants to make sure I get a fair deal. But I just can't. I don't want to divorce or lose my children. I love my wife and children more than anything. I just don't understand her motives or why she is doing this. It feels like I have to pick my son or my wife and our shared kids. I keep trying to make sense of it in my mind. She will not tell me any reason for wanting to get divorced. She's even being incredibly nice to my son. His birthday had recently passed and she got him a new game system. They haven't met. She said it was from myself and his siblings. She even told me what her nephew, who is the same age as my son, is into so that I can get things my son might like. I don't even know what advice I'm looking for. It feels like my life has been completely ruined. I'm in therapy, but it doesn't seem to help. A month ago, my wife and I were planning or trying for another baby and picking our next vacation spot, and now I'm going to be divorced? How do I move on? How do I not unfairly resent my son when I know it's not his fault? I keep hoping there's a way to convince her to stay, but I don't even know what the problem really is. I'm hoping someone else has been through learning they have a child after 10 plus years and know where to start or what I can do to either move on or convince my wife that this doesn't have to happen. Any advice at all is appreciated though.
I was a sophomore in high school. I participated in my first blood drive. The school held one every other month, and I was really excited because I was finally old enough to give blood. And one of the perks was you got to miss class and you got snacks and everything else. The only downside was that the person who ran the blood drive for the school was the math teacher that I could not stand. She was my mortal enemy. She was really mean. But after I'd finished giving blood, she came up to me and she pointed at the seat next to her station. She told me she wanted me to sit down next to her and have some snacks and recuperate, and maybe we could talk about my last math test that I didn't do so well on. And so when she turned her back, I left the room out of spite because I did not want to spend any more time than I had to with her. And I went back to class. And I finished out my day. It was a Friday, so the next day was the weekend. Over the weekend, I started feeling really lethargic and weak. And I had figured, I just gave blood. It's probably because of that. But also, I didn't really know because that was the first time I had ever done it. So Sunday rolls around, I go to the evening mass with my family. By the time we're ready to receive the body of Christ and go up to the altar, I was feeling really, really dizzy, and I felt like I was gonna pass out. So, because I'm one of those people that would rather suffer in silence, I didn't tell my dad what was happening. I just told him I needed to go to the bathroom because I would quite literally rather pass out in peace than have a medical emergency in front of anyone. So I make my way to the bathroom, and I guess I blacked out while on my way there because I ran into the holy water and I almost knocked it over. That got people's attention. And after that, somehow I made it to the bathroom. I think I supported myself on the hallway walls because I was wobbling. And then the next thing I remember, I'm waking up on the bathroom floor. My sister's standing over me crying, shaking me, trying to wake me up. I had passed out and cracked my head like really bad. But then I passed out again. And then the next time I woke up, an usher, like one of those church ushers who collect the money, was standing over me. It was this little old man, and he was frantic. He did not know what to do. And as soon as he saw me open my eyes, he said, honey, keep those eyes open. Keep those pretty eyes open. Help is on the way. Don't worry. Keep those eyes open. Stay with me. I said, fuck that, because I passed out again. And then the next thing I remember, I opened my eyes, and I'm in the activity room where all of the Sunday school kids did their arts and crafts. I don't know how I got there. I don't know if the usher picked me up or whoever, but I was there, and then I passed out again. And during my blackout, I'm hearing things happening around me. Apparently, they had already called the ambulance. Someone had called the ambulance when they realized there was a commotion. Someone passed out in the bathroom. So they were on their way, but I heard someone say, we cannot wait. We need a doctor. And my parish was actually full of doctors, so about 5 of them came back, I guess. And so I'm hearing them talk, and one of them says, how long has she not had a pulse and not been breathing? And they started freaking out because I was 16 years old. I was a teenager. They didn't know why this was happening to me. And then someone said, I don't know. I guess the usher didn't check my pulse, but that's okay. That's not his ministry. It's not his fault. But apparently I had been without pulse and breathing for a while. And then the priest made his way into the room, and he was praying. Turns out I died, Susie. I don't want to talk about it, but the paramedics came, they revived me, everything was fine. Actually, afterwards, they found out I had a couple of problems because I had given blood, but all in all, I was fine after that experience. But basically, I died despite my math teacher. So don't feel too bad about the pesto. It's okay.
So if you've ever been crazy to a guy and you're like, oh my god, he's never gonna talk to me again. Okay. I knew this guy in college who was hooking up with this girl, and she would text him all the time. Like all the time. And anytime he would go anywhere to like a different location, she would know where he was. So that's suspicious. I ended up befriending this girl. She was always around when we were like going home from the bars. So I ended up naturally telling her about my guy problems, and she gave me some suspicious advice one night when we were in the bar bathroom by ourselves. I didn't know if I was exclusive with the guy that I was seeing at the time, and she was like, oh, here's what you do. I was like, please tell me. I'm actually taking notes right now. She said, while he's sleeping, so already I was listening, take his thumb and put it on the thumbprint thing on his phone, because this is during the time of the thumbprint phone things. Add your thumbprint as a thumbprint on the phone, so then you have unlimited access to the phone. She's like, then you're in the phone, go in the Notes app, because that's where you find the real stuff. Messages, that's amateur. Notes app, that's where the real stuff is. It's kind of true. I mean, if any guy ever went through my Notes app, he'd be like, ew, what is this weird diary thing? And she said, no, like there might be a password in there, and it might be the password that they use for their like Tinder. She ended up confessing to me that he used the same password on his Tinder, his Instagram, his Snapchat. Let's call my guy friend Mason and Stacy. Stacy had all of Mason's passwords. She's like, just get into your guy's Notes app like one time and you'll be fine. But don't tell Mason I told you that. He'll get so creeped out. Don't tell Mason you told me that. I'm not the person you tell things like that to. Dude. Because I'm like, on the one hand, Stacy, I love you. We just had this hard talk in the bathroom. On the other hand, am I like supposed to tell, dude, I don't know what's ethically right here. So I had this huge secret that I knew. Oh my god. So first of all, obviously I'm not doing that, dude. I'd rather get cheated on like 100,000 times than know everything. Like, I don't want to know. That is not something. How mentally strong would you have to be? No. I'm not doing that. I'm not because I don't want to know. It's because I can't handle it. I'd rather, To know who the guy I like so much is DMing? No. I'd rather get cheated on every day of my life. Because my notes app would get a lot more full of diary entries. I can tell you that. I ended up telling my best friend, who told her boyfriend, who worked with Mason, and which, I'm sorry, Stacey, I couldn't keep it in, dude. So he told Mason and was like, dude, this girl has your password to everything, and also she can get into your phone every time you're sleeping, so maybe just change all your passwords and have a new lock on your phone or something. I thought his reaction would be like, oh my god, I have to like call the cops. This was his reaction. Bro, what? Dude, I knew it. All my Snapchats would always be open before I opened them. That's wild, dude. I gotta cut her off for like a week or so. He texted her and was like, Stacey, we're done. It's never gonna happen between us. She was like, okay. I didn't text him for a week. 1 week, she stayed silent. 1 week of no contact. Guess who he texts the next Saturday night? Stacey. Stacey had all the passwords to all of this guy's personal info. He texted Stacey and said, wanna hang? She was unmatching girls from his Tinder. And he doesn't care. He doesn't care. All she did was not text him for a week. When I look back on things that I have witnessed my guy friends doing, I'm like, dude, why do I even? It doesn't matter how not crazy you are in the end. In my head, like at the end of our lives, we're gonna get like points for not doing anything crazy or something. We're not. There's no points. Long story short, next time you hack into all of his personal information, just don't text him for like 4 or 5 days and you'll be back in. You're good. Doesn't matter. Might as well be crazy.
Get ready with me to go out with a girl who gave me a black eye in front of my whole high school a week before graduation. Buckle up, folks, because we are going back to high school. So at my high school, we had something called Battle of the Classes, where it's like freshmen against sophomore, juniors against seniors for school spirit. There was a school dress-up day. You wanted your class to dress out the most, that you would get the most points, so that by the end of the school year, you would win. My freshman year, my school was super school spirited, and then as the years went on, it went down and down and down, and then my senior class like brought it back up. Shout out class of 18, we were lit, and that's when this story takes place. So all year, my class was super spirited, so they rewarded us and the whole school with a night rally. My school had never had a night rally where we actually had to come back to campus at like 8, 9 o'clock to have a school rally. The whole school is super pumped, and this year everyone had such great school spirit that it was almost like a 4-way tie, but don't worry, seniors were in the lead, but the juniors were so close, the sophomores were right there, and then, you know, the freshmen. Each class had to wear their school spirit color, and then when you got there was some like dancing and having fun at the beginning, but then once the rally started, it was a bunch of class games. It was a few years ago now, but I think there was like 3 games, and at the end of the 3rd game, the seniors needed 1 more win to win the whole thing. A little context so that you really understand what happened here was when I was a senior in high school, junior and senior, my Snapchat story was always me like lip singing to whatever trending song was going on, like feeling myself. That was my version of a thirst trap, okay? The last game of the night was Guess That Lyric. And so everyone was like, Malia does all those lip singing videos. Everyone is pushing me down to represent the seniors. Being in high school, I was on the dance team, so I was always dancing in these rallies, but never like playing the games. I had never played a rally game to represent my class ever. And I was like not wanting to do it, but at the same time, like this would be the one that I'm good at. So I go up there, it's juniors versus seniors, sophomore versus freshmen, and we are at 4 corners of the basketball court, and the mic is in the center. You're running from all your different angles. When they play the song and they pause it, you run and you grab the mic and you finish the lyric. I'm up there representing the seniors, and my friend who's a junior is representing the juniors. Mind you, I've known her since 6th grade and she's my neighbor. We play the first round and I get it, and then we play the second round and she gets it. At this point, there's only 1 round left, and we're looking at each other from the opposite corners like, what? Shouldn't have done that. They play the music, and it's Bodak Yellow by Cardi B. We both go sprinting at that mic. I come sprinting from the back left corner, and she comes sprinting from the front right corner. I get there, I grab the mic, I'm behind it, and her speed keeps her going where she falls into the mic, and the mic falls into my eyeball socket. I've quite literally never heard a louder boom. You would have thought I dropped the mic off the 30th floor of a building. I literally can't open my eye. I'm like this, like frozen in front of the whole school. She's on the floor looking up at me, and I literally can't move. My eye just, I feel so much pressure in my eye, I could not move. One of my friends who's in ASB like nicely escorts me off and takes me to the bathroom so I can like get my bearings together, because mind you, there's the spotlight in my face. Like, I could not see. I didn't care if anyone saw me. I was freaking out that it was my eyeball that just got hit. Now, I'm dramatic. I am 18 and graduation is less than a week away. She comes in the bathroom to see if I'm okay. I'm like, why would you do that? It's just a game. Like, you didn't need to go that serious. Like, I'm freaking out. I can already see that my whole eyeball is swollen and I'm bleeding all around because when it hit me, it like dragged down with her weight still into it. So I'm literally bleeding all throughout my eyeball. Oh my gosh. By this time, my friends who told me to like go play the game, they're all running to the bathroom to see if I'm okay. I'm yelling at them, I told you I didn't want to play. This is why I don't play these games. Like, look at me, and graduation's a week away. Like, so dramatic. And like, hindsight, I was dramatic. But in the moment, it was warranted. Like, my eye is bleeding. We graduate in like 4 or 5 days. That was the end of that rally. So by the time I came out of the bathroom, everything was done. People are coming over to me like, oh, are you okay? Freaking out once they see my eye. All I want to do is go home. I go home. My dad's like, you got in a fight, you got jumped, what just happened? I tell him what happened. Let me find the picture of what I looked like that night or the next day. A little melodramatic, but that's pretty bad for it to be the week of graduation. By the time graduation rolled around, the swelling was all gone, and that's when the power of makeup kicks in, and I was able to cover it. But literally anytime me and her hear Bodak Yellow, we like stare at each other and laugh because we're still friends to this day. But a good year went by before I talked to her again because I was so mad. One of the worst parts was obviously it happened at school, so everyone the next day was like staring at me, and I was trying to wear my glasses so that you couldn't really see it that bad. But guess what school has never had a night rally since that incident? My school. So I'm really sorry to the classes that are there now. Stay safe, y'all. I had super strict parents growing up, so I don't have that many crazy childhood stories, but when my kids ask me what was your most embarrassing high school memory, it's gonna be that and the fight that I didn't even get into. I think about it, I really need to live a little because my kids are gonna think their mom was boring.
On June 17th of this year, I met a man at a bar, and I have not thought of anything else since. And it's not for the reasons you think. I need you to hear me out. My friend and I get to this bar, it's called Break Room 86, and immediately we notice that there is a ginormous group of white men, all in baseball jerseys turned inside out. Weird thing, number one. I've never been to this bar before. My friend has, so she's like showing me around. We're doing our walk around. We're listening to the DJ. We realize at one point that the group has left, but they've left behind a straggler. There is one lone baseball boy left behind. So this baseball boy ends up near me, and I'm a curious creature. So I tap him on the shoulder. And I say, hi, why is your jersey inside out? And immediately when this man turns around and makes eye contact with me, it is very clear that he is very far gone. So he looks at me and he says, I don't know. I think the bouncer doesn't like baseball. I don't think that was it. I ask him his name. His name is Sean. We get to talking, and then he pauses and he looks me right in my soul and he says, I don't like where I'm at right now. That brings up many more questions. Do you not like where you are physically, like at the bar? Do you not like how drunk you are? Do you not like that you're talking to us? Like, I need more answers from you now, and that's on you. I immediately go into mama bear mode because that's my natural inclination. I ask him where his friends are. He says he doesn't know. He says he's looking for his friend. I ask him what his friend looks like. He says tall and white and brown hair. Well, that's 99% of the men in this bar, sir. It's LA. We point to the tallest man we can see right behind him. He doesn't check first. He just walks right up to this man. He gets this close to him, and then he turns back and he looks at us and he goes, so he struck out. He comes back. He says he's going to get another beer. I say, how about we do water? He goes to the bar. I'm watching him from afar because at this point it's just a case study. I just need to know what's going on. Once he realizes he's not going to get served, he leaves. Just leaves the bar all by his lonesome, which men are wont to do. Anna and I decide to leave. And who is at the exit but our friend Sean? This bar is the kind of bar where the exit is right next to the entrance. So we walk out. He's right here. He looks at us and he goes, can you get me in there? And I said, in front of the bouncer that hates baseball? Absolutely not. I will not be caught liking baseball or letting you in through the exit in front of that man. I haven't seen Sean since. And I need you to know I had a lot of questions that didn't really get answered. So if you and all of your baseball-loving friends were at Break Room 86 in Koreatown on June, what did I say, 17th? Can you give me a call? Can you let me know if Sean made it okay? And can you also let me know why your baseball jerseys were inside out? I need to know!
Am I the asshole for not giving the mother of my dead husband's child his possessions? Me, 30 female, and my husband got married when we were 25. After 6 years, he passed away in an accident in April. A few weeks before the accident, I found out that he had a one-night stand with a woman who he works with. When he died, I hadn't decided yet what was going to happen in our relationship. We entered counseling and were still living together, but obviously it was hectic. As I wasn't sure if we were going to divorce, I decided not to tell our families and only confided in a few close friends and my therapist. I didn't want opinions from everyone. I also didn't tell his family when he died. There was no reason to. A few weeks ago, the affair partner reached out to me. She's 5 months pregnant and preparing to raise the baby. She wanted me to tell his family because she wants her child to have a relationship with his family and be connected to his culture. I said I wouldn't do this and simply passed along their contact information. Shit hit the fan. I am close with his brothers and I thought they were going to raise him from the dead and kill him again. Apologies for the dark humor. They're coming around to the idea of having a relationship with the baby, but I do not want to, nor has the mother offered, which is fine. The mother has gotten back in touch with me to ask for some of my husband's possessions. She wants his clothes, his books, his record collection, and bizarrely, his wedding ring for the baby to feel connected to its father. I made it very clear to her that I will be giving her nothing of the sort. His parents and brother have some of his stuff and she can access things like that through them. She kept pushing and I lost my temper and called her an outrageous bitch who should find some shame. I wouldn't be opposed to passing some of the stuff along to the child via my in-laws when they're older and can appreciate it. Not the wedding ring, which was the worst request in my opinion, but other sentimental stuff. I've also retained a lawyer to look into whether I owe the child any money legally from my husband's passing. If I don't, I may set up a trust fund for them when they're an adult with his money because I really don't need it and that seems fair. I just do not want to give this woman all I have left of my husband. I really do not trust her with any of it.
No.
Obviously, she thinks I'm a bitter, raging monster bitch and an asshole, and my in-laws are divided. My in-laws are largely supportive, but some think that I need to give some of his stuff to her and the baby. Some of his brothers have told me that they're sympathetic, but that I'm behaving like an asshole and a baby by not co-parenting for the sake of the child. I'm unsure whether the complicated grief is clouding my judgment. Am I the asshole?
Back when I did gymnastics, every Christmas season, we would put on this show for the parents whose kids did like gymnastics for fun, and also like random people from the town would come watch it, and it was a disaster. Basically, all the kids that did gym for fun would show their parents like what they had learned throughout the year, and then we would do like a group team routine to like show off our skills to the parents, and we'd also have to do like individual routines too. The group routine was to the same music every single year, and it's a very popular Christmas song, so I hear it on the radio all the time, and every time I hear it, I get flashbacks. This was a really big fundraiser for our gym, so all the parents had to work it, and they had it broken up into sessions, and there was like 8 to 12 sessions, so we were having to do this group routine like 8 to 12 times. One year we messed up the group routine like every single time, and right before the last session, our coach like lined us all up, cussed us out, and then we finally got it right. In between the sessions, that's when we would show off our routines that like we were about to compete, because this happened like right before competition season. And that's when I fell on my beam routine and cried, and the picture was taken of me and the story I got from last time. Obviously, we were there all day, and I don't remember, it might have been like multiple days that we had to do this. But they would order us food from like, I don't know, a restaurant, but we weren't really allowed to like eat much. Like they were monitoring what we were eating, so we were all starving. There was a concession, but we weren't allowed to get anything from it, especially no candy or like junk food. So this is what we would do. There were these like rolled up mats, and you could like fit stuff inside of them. So we would buy candy from the concession stand and shove it in the rolled up mats. In the rolled up mats, there was a hole in the center that was big enough for us to fit in. And so we would stick our candy in, jump inside the hole, and then eat it while someone else sat by the mat on like lookout, making sure that the coaches weren't around. One year we were unrolling the mats after this whole Christmas shindig, and there were leftover candy wrappers in them. And we got in so much trouble. They lined us up, screamed at us, cussed us all out, and then we learned to be much more careful and throw away our candy wrappers. There were positives though. I always really enjoyed doing the Christmas show. I loved it, and I always liked our group routine. I really loved the music, and I really liked learning the routine. The reason I loved learning this routine so much is because it was one of the only times we were excused from finishing our assignments. Like if you didn't finish your assignment but you had to learn the Christmas routine, it was okay. It was also fun because the parents of the little kids would be impressed with us even if we did horrible and we fell, and the coaches were like super mad, but the parents would clap.
Get ready with me for the Taylor Swift movie and a Halloween party. I accidentally double booked myself, so we are going to make both of them work. Only thing is I won't have time to go home after Taylor Swift, so I have to wear my Halloween costume to the Taylor Swift movie, which honestly is like best case scenario because I feel like a lot of people are going to be dressing up for the movie anyway, so I won't be standing out like a sore thumb. You saw my Windsor Halloween costume inspo video. I was going to do the space cowgirl outfit because it's this silver like mesh dress with silver boots and this really fun cowgirl hat, which felt very Eras tour to me, and then I could have just gone to the Halloween party as space cowgirl. I put the dress on and then sat down, and it was not very comfortable to sit in. Standing, it's absolutely gorgeous, but it is like mesh and rhinestones, so sitting in that for 3 hours just did not sound like a good idea. So we're switching gears also because Dylan's coming, so like what would he have been if I was a space cowgirl? I think we're gonna channel the Reputation era. And I'm saying I think because I have yet to put an outfit together. Also, I am rushing a bit because my friends are gonna be here in 20 minutes. Yeah, Reputation for Taylor Swift and then Matrix for Halloween party. That just feels the easiest. Like it is a costume, but it's not like a costume. Literally just ran to Urban Outfitters to get Dylan and I like a matching long leather trench coat. Like besides black sunnies, that's the only part of the costume that I have planned out so far. But I feel like the rest would be pretty easy. It's just like all black. So I just asked my friends who are going to the Taylor Swift movie with what they're wearing. And she said that they're wearing Taylor Swift t-shirts. So they're gonna be in that, and I'm gonna be in probably like a tight black leather outfit situation. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I also think it's about to be that time of the month, either like tonight or tomorrow morning, because about 5 minutes before starting filming this video, I was just crying. At what? Couldn't tell you, but I was literally at Urban Outfitters on the verge of tears, and then right when I got in my car, I just let it out. And I'm so bummed because at Urban Outfitters, when I was standing in the checkout line, there was this girl in front of me buying a Future Shine vinyl, which is Dylan's band's album that they sell at Urban. I so badly wanted to be like, I hope you enjoy the album, that's my fiance's band, but I just couldn't make the words out.
Story time about how I got catfished by my ex-boyfriend. So a little background information, I was 16 years old and I was in 10th grade. And I had been dating this guy who we're going to call Jack since my freshman year in high school. Now the first year of our relationship was absolutely amazing, no complaints. But then fast forward, we get into 10th grade and all of a sudden he changes. Now Jake had always been a super nice person, but for some reason this year he decided that he wanted to be extra friendly to people, mainly girls. I didn't really think anything of it at the time because he told me he wanted to change up his characteristics, whatever the fuck that means. But the one day I'm in the library and then my friend Chloe walks in and she shows me a video of him rubbing some girl's thigh. And then when I confronted him about it, he was like, babe, she was forcing me to. I promise it'll never happen again. Well, I believed him. But because of this, I started paying way more attention to his actions. I realized he started going out way more and he would always have his location off. And when I confront him about it, he absolutely flips out on me. Like I said, after I confront him about this, he decides that he's going to flip out on me, victimize himself, of course. So him and I end up breaking up. And then 5 months later, I meet this really cute guy on Snapchat. And you know, him and I are talking for a while. And of course, I start to catch feelings. And then bam, him and I start dating. Now, I'm not even going to beat around the bush with this one. I was willing to date anybody because I was lonely. The next day, whenever I go to school, Jake keeps smiling at me and tries to talk to me, but I'm ignoring him because what the fuck? Well, over the next 2 days, my new boyfriend starts acting like a total jerk. He starts asking me for nudes 24/7. He never wanted to talk to me. Well, the one day him and I were having a really good day and I decided to send them to him. And then a week later, Jack walks up to me and shows me my pictures. And he's like, if you don't do the nasty with me, I'm posting these everywhere. Now, my parents are super strict and I didn't want them seeing it, so I did it with him. And he ended up posting them everywhere and then telling everybody that we did the nasty.